Hi everybody, my name is Rebecca and welcome to Yarn and Pajamas. Today is my first ever gnome along. And what is a gnome along? Well, it is just where we crochet a gnome together, and that is it. That is all it is. So the first gnome that we're going to crochet together is the birthday gnome, and it is by Winding Road Crochet. And it is a free pattern on her blog, or you can purchase the PDF version in her Etsy store, I believe, and it is without ads. So I do have a printed out version here. It's not in color, but this is what I printed out. So I just wanted to make a point of why I chose this gnome for the first gnome along, and it is because I think that it will be a very versatile gnome. So what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do, is turn this birthday gnome into a Valentine gnome. And I believe that this gnome right here can be changed for any holiday, such as if you want an Easter gnome, you could replace the topper here with some Easter bunny ears and just change up the colors. So just by changing the topper and the colors, you could have tons of different gnomes from just this one pattern. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to turn this gnome into a Valentine cupcake gnome. So I am going to do a few little things different than what Winding Road does. Mainly on the body, and that is what our video today is about, is the body. So what we're going to do is we're going to assemble the body. So let's talk about some of the things that you're going to need in order to make this gnome. Well, one of the first tools that you're going to need, let me move all of this out of the way, is you're going to need a crochet hook. Now I have here a Clover Amour hook. It is a 2.75 millimeter. And if you guys have been around before, I am doing gnome bundle giveaways this year, and this is one of the sizes that I include in some of the giveaways. It's a 2.75. You're also going to, of course, need a pair of scissors. You are going to need a yarn needle because we are going to need to sew in some ends, and we're going to need to sew some appendages on. That's two different yarn needles. And for the beard today, I am going to do a felted beard. So you will need one of these. And it is a, let's see what it's called here. It's called a felting needle, and this is the size small. Now I find that the size small works the best for these tight stitches on the gnome. One of the other tools that I like to use a whole lot, it helps with sewing, are these little pliers here. These are some old ones that my mom had in her toolkit from work that I just commandeered and I use, and it helps like pushing the needle through or pulling it through when you have it through some of your stitches. It really saves on the fingers. Okay, another important thing that you're going to need to make this gnome is a gnome butt. Now this gnome butt is just a piece of foam board that I got from the Dollar Tree. And I just cut little circles out. So this background right here is a piece of the black foam board from the Dollar Tree. I wrinkled it somehow. I need me a nice background. But this is what I've got. So I just cut some circles out, and this will go in the bottom of the gnome. And it just helps like for stability so that it sets up nice and flush. Now, I have been known to sometimes glue with fabric glue these to the bottom, but most times I don't. I just throw it down in there and throw fiberfill on top of it. That's another thing you'll need is some fiberfill to give it some stuffing or whatever you use to stuff your amigurumi projects with. And then, of course, you're going to need, if you do the felting wool version, you're going to need some felting wool in the color that you want for the beard. Or if you're going to do the acrylic yarn version like she has, you just need some acrylic yarn. The next thing that you guys are going to need is some yarn. And I'm using some Scheepjes Catona cotton for my yarn. So I'm using Catona cotton in hot red, in tulip, in old lace, and one more color in shell. So these are the colors that I'll be using to make my Valentine gnome. Okay, so let's go back to Winding Road Crochet's birthday gnome. Now, I do already have all of the body parts made up for the body. And I just wanted to go along and show you guys or tell you guys some of the differences that I made versus her body that she has here. So I'm very particular about the bodies that I like. I like the style that Pam Pinot Store does on her gnomes. And so I will put a link down below to her store if you want a written version or, you know, want to be able to understand it a little bit better than what I'm explaining it today, because I'm not going to go, because it's not my pattern, I'm not going to go into like full-on detail stitch by stitch of what I done, and just kind of, I'm just going to give you like an overview. So I have my body here. Nice little body. Now you'll say, oh, well, that looks a whole lot like her body. That's because it essentially is her body. Most gnome bodies are pretty much the same. I did do a few things different. So one, her body is all the same color, but I done mine two-tone. That's just pretty much just switching your colors out. So one of the big differences is I put this little ridge of a border here onto mine. And all that is on, I believe she said it's on row number 8. Instead of doing it through the complete stitch, I do it in the back loop only. And then I continue up in her pattern. And I'm going to leave a link for a tutorial for this border right here. Pam Pinot Store has a YouTube channel, and she does a tutorial for this. It's super easy. It is just a single slip stitch and a chain, and it is so easy. So I'm going to leave that here. So if you want this border on yours, you just do that row before you start building up the body in the back loop, and you'll leave that front loop open to go back and attach your yarn and do this cute little border. So I did go, she does from rows 9 to 20 for the body. I did go 4 more rows higher. I wanted my gnome to be just a little bit taller. So I did go 4 rows higher. And you see here how hers is left open at the top. I just went ahead and closed mine off. So I've essentially just done the reverse of this. When I done row number 24, completed it and went to row number 25. Instead of doing, you know, the complete stitches, I done 6 single crochet and then decrease. 6 single crochet, decrease all the way around. And then for the next row, I just went down. 5 single crochet, decrease all the way around. Then 4 single crochet, decrease. 3 single crochet. You get the idea. Until I'm all the way down till I just have 6 stitches, and then I just finished off. I had never made a gnome body to where I left it open, so I didn't know how that was going to go. So I just didn't do that. So that was it. So the pattern for her body is essentially the same as what I done here, only I closed the top off instead of leaving it open. Made it just a hair bit taller, and I gave it a border on the end. So if you have any questions about anything different that I've done here than winding row crochet, please feel free to ask those questions in the comments down below, and I will do my very best to try to explain better what I've done here. But pretty much it's her pattern through and through. The next body part that we're going to need are some arms, because yes, every gnome needs arms. Now these arms are nothing like her pattern. I needed my arms to be a little bit longer because I like to attach my arms and have them come down the side. Now, as you can tell, hers are coming to the middle because it's holding a present. I don't know if it's holding a gift. Well, because mine is going to be a Valentine gnome, he will not have a gift to hold. So I just wanted his to come down to his side. So I did not follow her pattern. I went ahead and done the arms that Pam Pinot Store does. But if you're going to do her arms, I would say, and you wanted them to go down the side of his body like this, like I'm going to have mine, I would just do this little part right here just a tad bit longer so you can put it up. It also helps give bulk to the hat portion too. But I always put my arms down like that. And then the last body part that I'm going to put on my gnome is, of course, the nose. And as you can tell, the noses are quite different in size. I like a big nose for my gnome. And she just does, hers is quite tiny. It is 6 single crochet, and that's it. She doesn't increase it anymore. So I definitely done Pam Pinot Store's nose, and she increases all the way up to 24. So I believe, so there's 6, that's 12, 18. Yes, she goes all the way up to 24. And then she does a couple rows at that 24, and then she does the reverse and decreases all the way down. So it's pretty basic, but I like a nice bulbous nose because I think the nose is besides the hat, it's one of the distinctive things that you can tell that it's a gnome because of that nose, right? Yes. Okay. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and I'll show you guys how I attach the body parts for my gnome. So we're going to start with putting on the arms. And now let me grab, I do use a couple of pins. I forgot to tell you guys about this. I do pin on my arms. So I like to make sure this little jag right here where, you know, the back is to the back. Sometimes I forget to do that. And then I like to make sure that the little jag, you know, where it turns over is to the back here. And I'm sorry about the trains. I look and just kind of, on the first arm, just kind of say, oh, I like that. And then I turn it and make sure, okay, we're in the back. Everything is to the back. And then I'll put a pin in it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my other arm here. I'm going to make sure that that part is to the back. Then I'm going to be like, oh, well, this needs to come forward a little bit more. And I don't really, I kind of just put it down like this when the arms are about the same, like the little hands are about the same. We'll go ahead and pin this one. Then I'll look and I'll see, yeah, that looks about right. And then I'll look and see about the back. So then I feel like, oh, well, it's not really all that centered to the back. So then I'll look again. Maybe it needs to go up one. See, now I feel like that's too high. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. No, that one's definitely too high. Okay, so we're gonna say about like that. Now I'm gonna get these at the handy, at the ready. I'm gonna get my favorite yarn needle here. And we're just gonna sew this arm on. And I'll just tell you, because my gnomes, I don't give them to kids because I don't really think that gnomes are kid toys. See what I'm talking about? These stitches are so tight that having those little things helps tremendously sometimes. Saves the wear and tear on your old skin. But because these are not going to kids, I don't really, you know, make sure that my sewing is the greatest, because they're not going to be played with. So why make sure that it's like industrial, like down? Oh, one thing I like to do too, I just about forgot to do it, is I don't like it when my arms are like flailing out like that. So I'm going to take it down into the body here. Like so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of went down a little bit too far. I like to stay up in the color of the arm instead of going down into the fleshy color. So what I'm going to do is just going to go right through here like this. And then I'm going to go right down, right in beside of where I was at. And then just kind of back up into the gnome. And what this is going to do is just kind of tack that arm down so that it's not flopping about. And then that's it. All I'm going to do. So we're going to do the same thing for the other side here. So let's load up the yarn here into the needle. Okay, we no longer need that. I feel like well, sewing is my least favorite thing to do when it comes to amigurumis. I'm sure it's everybody's least favorite thing. I mean, because crocheting is the fun part, but you want everything to come together. That one's a little tough. Oops. You want everything to come together real pretty and nice. So in order for that to happen, you kind of got to get the sewing part done, right? See, the hat is going to hide all of the arm sewing, so I don't really, you know, take my time to make sure my stitches are not visible. So now's a good time to kind of, see, I should have had it up a little bit more, but oh well. I was going to say, now is a good time to make sure your thing is how you want it, but you know, unless it is like horrendously bad, I won't go back and undo my sewing. Again, I'm just going to tack down this hand. I'm going to go right in. I hope that this just the next stitch over. And on this one, I kind of like to try to get into the same right beside of that one because I'm going to tie it. Oops. So, and this is what I like to do, just so a little bit of extra security. Tie that up. I'm going to snip off these ends. And now I am going to save these ends. Well, those are kind of small. I probably won't save those. But then I'm just going to poke. You don't really even have to do this either because the hat's going to cover it. But I don't know. I like doing the little pokey. Okay. So now we've got his arms on. Look at him, he's starting to come together. So the next part is going to be our bulbous nose. So here you just kind of got to play with like where you want it. So I'm thinking, let's look and see what he looks like here. So we'll put a couple of pins in. I think I may have stuffed this nose a little bit too much. So I'm trying to envision the hat, how the hat is going to come down. So I think that my nose needs to come down a little bit more onto his body, like maybe right here. Maybe set like that. That looks good. One of the other features that she has on hers is she has little feet to go right here. And I opted not to do those feet. Just no reason. I mean, they're cute as a bug. But again, like I said, I like my gnome bodies to be a certain way. And this is the way I prefer. So this is the way I wanted to do this one. Okay, so now we're just going to sew this bad boy on. So I'm going to sew from this little ridge right here. You see it? Right there. Do I have it in frame there? We're going to do that one. So I'm just going to go around and sew it down. And again, please feel free to make fun of my sewing skills because I know that they're not the greatest. I am not a sewer. I do not like the sewing bit. See, it's already hurting my finger pulling it through. See, down underneath, it gets harder to get that ridge. Oops. You have to kind of take it up under it a little bit. Well, I am on the right ridge, right? Yep. Okay. Oops. And again, like I said, since this isn't going to a child, most adults are not that hard on their gnomes. you have a nice little gnome nose attached. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to do it right to the top here through one of these. And then I'm going to take this one from the body. This is where I closed up my body. I'm going to take it back up to the top. And I'm going to tie it off with the nose, just to help give the nose a little bit more support and stability. Now, these ends I will definitely keep because they are long enough, oops, to do something with later. And we're just going to press that back down in. And we have us a gnome body. Arms and a nose. Smoosh it around a little bit. Put those off to the side. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to do his beard. Okay, so to put the beard on, we're going to need to get some felting wool here. And I did order this from Amazon, and I will put a link to it down below. You can also get the felting wool from Hobby Lobby, but I wanted some like colors, and it was just easier to order it from Amazon. So I'm just going to take me a wee little bit here, and I'm going to kind of spread it out, and I will just put a full-on disclaimer here. I am not a professional. I did not find a tutorial for this on YouTube. I looked and I couldn't figure it out, so I just kind of played around with it and kind of done it myself. So what I'm going to do is, it's the wrong scissors, is I'm going to take this little piece here, and then I'm going to cut a little piece like so. Lay this off to the side. Okay, so now I'm going to lay this like just kind of up and around where I want the beard to be. Don't worry about how that part looks yet, because we'll go back and shape it. Oops. So then you're going to take your needle and you are just going to start poking the wool into the gnome body as I'm doing here. Kind of do that, and then just press down. Kind of push it like that. You can also use these needles with the acrylic yarn and brush, and kind of like help shape your beard like how you want it. And I kind of like pull down on my beard a little bit. Make sure, oh, there was a piece not. Oh, look at that. Did you see that? I just broke my needle. Let me get rid of that. That was no good. Good thing it comes in a pack of 5, right? So I kind of just pull down then I'll go and put it back. Okay, so now it's time to grab another piece because we want a nice voluptuous beard, don't we? So I'm just gonna kind of pull it around to where I want it. And then I'm gonna push it in a little bit, and I'm just gonna start poking. And this is it pretty much, guys. It's just pushing it down and then poking it in. Now again, like I said, this may not even be the way to do this. I don't know. This is what's worked for me. I've done the felted wool bit a couple of times, and I tell you what, I like it a lot better. It's a lot less time consuming than, see, I just kind of like brush the beard down, kind of brushes it out a little bit, and then any pieces that come out, you can take them, put them back towards the top. We're gonna say, you're gonna go back in there so we don't waste you. I feel like you have a little bit more control over what the beard does as well. Okay, so again, I'm not done because I like a nice voluptuous beard. So I'm gonna add even more to my beard. Let's go up a little bit higher here. So this part is a preference part. It's a what you prefer. You want a thicker beard, or do you want a thinner beard? That is totally up to you. So just keep poking it in. And when we get done with this, we are going to shape the end of the beard up. I presume that gnomes, since they have beards, have like beard shops and stores that they can go to and purchase their, you know, like beard clippers and like beard oils, all that nice grooming stuff for their beards. That's what I would like to think. Maybe stitching ain't easy. She has like all of the gnome village. She needs to make a beard shop for her gnomes because I think they would like that. Look at that. So now let's kind of comb out her beard a little bit. You know, this helps pull the fibers down that didn't get poked down in. So one of the areas that I'm going to, put some more up at is up here. I'm just going to kind of figure out where I need it to be at. And poke it down in. Now we're going to take our scissors here, and we're just going to kind of give the old beard a trim here. And then I'm going to give it one little last just pokey through. That way it'll like comb through, I guess. And then just kind of pull it down into its point. Ooh, look at all those little fuzzies. We're gonna use our little stick here, and we're gonna create a swirl to the side, because he's gonna be a cupcake, you know, and cupcakes have swirls, right? Okay, and look there, we've got his beard on. So we've got his beard all done up, and you can fiddle with his beard as much as you want. You can also, if you want a little girl, you can just put braids on her with acrylic yarn instead of messing with the beard. But that is it, guys. That is the end of the Gnome Along for the body. So all he needs now to be a little Valentine gnome cupcake is his hat, because he is already stylish with his beard and his gnome nose. So in the next part of the video, we will work on his hat. And I can tell you that I do, let's refer back to Winding Road's pattern here. I completely do everything she says. I follow her hat pattern to the T. That's what, when I saw the hat, that's what drew me to this pattern. The only thing I do different is that cherry. So if you want to get a head start, instead of doing the cherry, I'm going to do a heart and put the stem on it to make it look like a heart cherry maybe. And the pattern that I'm using for the heart is by Stringy Ding Ding Olive, and I will put a link to that pattern down below if you want to go check it out and maybe start working on it to work ahead. But if you guys want to meet me back here in a couple of days, we will get this little feller a hat on him and get him all ready for his Valentine kisses. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.